MyMac Podcast 820, Deadman's Mac. And welcome to this week's MyMac.com podcast. And, you know, some weeks it just seems like there's not much to talk about. But this week, we've got amazing things to speak of because the stories got juicier, Gaz, as the week went by. But the real issue, I think, is what on earth, Gaz, are you going to do with a dead man's Mac? And I'm expecting to see, oh God, what's his name? For some reason, Johnny Rotten is stuck in my head, but that's not who I'm thinking of. The actor that was like in all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, crikey. Oh,
I know. Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, him. Anyway, I know you mean.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he's not going to appear. No. And while I jump in, you might even want to go and search for his name because I can't think of it at the moment.
Because it will drive me nuts.
Although I've just coughed, I'm actually feeling a lot better.
Oh yeah, because you were in bad shape last week.
Yeah, I was actually. But actually, what I'm thinking is, what on earth are we're wondering what to do with the old G5 iMac that we have. Remember? Deadman's machine. Mr. Cohen, your fault, by the way. Anyway, it isn't worth very much. And we've now decorated the room where I pod, which is here. If you're watching this, if it's been put out on video, which it may not. And I also work from here as well. We're putting drawers and furniture back in. But Mrs. G has said, what are you going to do with that old Mac? In fact, she said, what are you going to do with that old computer, if I'm perfectly honest? And
she doesn't care what kind of computer it is.
She doesn't care. Yeah, she doesn't. She's not got the same kind of allegiance to it.
She has no skin in the game.
No. So I may end up taking it to Apple and letting them dispose of it responsibly. Yes, it is working. Yes, it's in its original box. So if anyone out there in the UK wants it and you can collect it, you've got 1 week or so to let me know. And then
you're not going to send it to Chicago?
No, it's collection only. And I'm prepared to travel a little way, but not that far, because I travelled to Manchester to get it in the first place, if I'm honest. Yes, we met. Well, yeah, it was closer to Manchester. It was my way. Anyway, I was prepared to do that. That was fine. But then, of course, Guy, it won't be MyMac anymore.
MyMac.
Yeah, see what I did there.
Yeah. You got to like work it back through. That's how that all goes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, how about you?
Well, as you remember last week, I was telling you that the wife was going out to Boise, Idaho, to see her mom and her sister, and so she left on Thursday. And what I've found is sometimes getting someone else ready for a trip can be almost as stressful as getting yourself ready for a trip.
Can I say, actually, I find it more stressful.
Well, why is that?
Well, because you then can't read their mind as to what they actually want to take.
Right.
And they might be going on a trip and you'll go, okay, so you're going to need this, you get that, right, we'll put this, we'll get that bag for you, you can use that bag. Yes, but so-and-so won't fit in there, will it? What do you mean so-and-so? Well, I want to take so-and-so. Why do you want to take... So for me...
And then the argument started. So... Johnny Depp, by by was the actor that we were so
we've forgotten that name?
I know, so desperately searching for at the beginning of this show. Oh, I'm sorry. You are?
I have no idea.
Okay. Well, as long as we're on the same page.
Hey.
Yeah. So she left on Thursday, and I made sure that she had a couple of. She flew obviously because Boise would be about a 3+ day drive, and I actually, because I am so desperate to go someplace. I actually said, well, we could drive it. And she just gave me that, are you out of your effing mind look that, well, honestly, I'm very used to it by now after, 28 years of marriage. It's a look I get a lot.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I can understand why.
Yeah. Yeah. I see it sometimes on this podcast, as a matter of fact. So odd.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. So she's gone, and you would think, all right, it is time for Guy to party. Yeah, or binge watch TV shows on Netflix, Plex, and Apple TV. Also, to no one's surprise, watching YouTube videos, where the experts are, on fine-tuning my audio gear. Because, yeah, and you kind of hinted at it earlier.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you were recording at that point. You've still got it on a boom arm though.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay,
it's still there. Because it was such a pain in the neck to get hooked up again. It was like, I'm not taking that off just now. I'm going to leave it on. Yeah. Oh, before I forget, I got something in the mail this morning. I went out to check for the mail.
To show me, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Right. Thought it was.
And for people who remember that
the hat.
There's
the hat. For everybody who's only listening, he's got a MacStock cap on. Loving it.
Funny you should say that, because it is related. Now this year, because of COVID-19, nobody was able to go to MacStock, so they had a virtual MacStock.
Yep.
Well, it wouldn't be a MacStock if there wasn't some stuff. Well, what I got in the mail today was some stuff. So here's the first stuffy thing. Can you see that?
Yes, I can. It's a mug with virtual MacStock on it, 2020, and a nice smiley face logo on the back.
And the other thing was, I should have already had this. Here we go.
Should have been wearing this, a T-shirt. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's a bit Larry, actually, isn't it? It's a bit Larry, that one.
Larry? I don't get that.
In your face.
Oh, okay. Well, I get that because I actually have a brother Larry.
Loud.
Yeah, but he's not that loud. Good guy though. Shame he steals. And he listens to the podcast. Larry, I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding. You hardly ever steal. Hardly ever.
He's not lying.
So and I don't have it here in the show notes. Once Tracy gets back, which will be next Thursday.
Yep. You've got days of fun, haven't you? Days.
Yeah. I have not been sleeping well because, I turn on like some TV show, and most of the ones I've been watching are ones that I have watched so many times. But I'll turn it on at like 9:30 at night, when what I should be doing is getting ready for bed. Instead, I start binge watching some TV show, and then I look at the clock a little while later. It's like, oh, just one more. Crap, it's 2:00 in the morning. I'm still watching this stupid show that I've already seen. So, but the thing that I'm looking to do once Tracy gets back, and I have no idea if she's going to participate or not because she's not a fan, is going down to Florida, getting together with not my brother Bill, but my nephew Bill, even though they live relatively close to one another, and I'll definitely see him while I'm there, and do some faux surfing.
Faux surfing,
right? That's where I have a surfboard, and I get out into the water, and I'm in the water with the surfboard, but never actually manage to surf because I suck at it.
Okay, faux surfing. Yes.
Faux surfing. Surf-foing.
You can do that quite close to you in a lake.
I could do it right here in my own living room.
Well, no, because
and then fall off the board.
No.
It has to be in water.
No. Yes.
And unfortunately, none of my bathtubs are long enough for me to lay out in.
Well, not with a surfboard, have you?
No, not with anything. Not with anything. That would have to be one hell of a long.
You could get one of those bodyboards and do it in your bath.
Yeah, that would make a real big mess, and my wife would think I was crazy. No, never mind.
I really don't think that matters.
No, no. At this point, it's kind of like he's doing something stupid, and it's only Wednesday. So,
Yeah.
so that's what's going on. I'm hoping in maybe late October. I don't want it to get too close to the wintertime, even though we're talking about Florida. But the thing is that the later you go, even though it's relatively warm, it's like 70s and 80s in Florida.
Yep.
The water temperature will be like in the 60s, which can be a little cold. So
it's like normal for here.
Yeah. Well, you go down to Brighton, and that's about what the temperature is in the worst part of the summer. It's so hot. Oh, look. Oh, the water is a nice, cool 58 degrees.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Or what would 58 degrees be in Celsius? That would be about 15, 16 Celsius. Something like that.
It was a bit cool, actually.
Yeah. But I did it when I was there.
Good man. Well,
I'm a crazy guy.
I've done it plenty of times. Yeah, without a wetsuit or a dry suit as well. So, out in the sea for 40.
That's all we got. That's all we got for the beginning part of the show. So,
well, you know what that
there's
means,
nothing new. There's nothing new at MyMac as far as reviews and stuff go.
Well, we best jump straight into Gaz's snippets then. Well, I've got to say, when I started this week's snippets, I didn't think that there were that many. 2, I wasn't impressed with the stories at the beginning. But then it turned out there are a lot more stories than I anticipated, and they got a lot juicier as the week went on. So let's start Gaz's snippets. As you can see, I'm scrolling through quite a lot this week.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
And we can skip through a lot of them. We'll just, pass on by, as it were. So, first of all, let me get my snippets up, because I've got them in the thing, but I like to have them in the capture, the RSS capture, just in case you want any more info on them.
Okay.
But we don't want to go too informative,
too deep,
do we? Really? No. No, informative. No.
Depends.
Apple Watch Series 3 users are complaining of random reboots and other bugs after updating to WatchOS 7.
That'll teach them to still be on a 3.
Absolutely. Go out and buy a newer watch, damn you.
What's wrong with you people?
Should Apple and Google reward people for using the contact tracing apps?
How are they supposed to reward them?
Hang on a minute. The point there is, 1, it's not Google or Apple's policy for it. They just put the format out there. It's the governments who want it. Apple and Google don't really care about contact tracing apps. They've just put the process in to make sure that people can't be traced properly. Therefore,
that's why they won't use it.
Rewarded.
So it's an end around. Well, see, we're not going to trace you when you use this app, but if you do use it, here's a lolly. Can you tell us where to send it?
Yeah, we've taken too long already. Too long already. Apple wants to make a Mac, iPad, keyboards more spilt resistant. Yeah, right. Okay, fine. Do you see where I was going with these early stories? I was thinking, oh my word. AirPlay 2 and HomeKit coming to select 4K Roku TVs and devices later this year. Started to get a little bit better. Apple Music renaming Get Up Mix to Workout Mix. Then
I was so worried about that.
Yeah, I was. See, so the story's dropped down.
Kept me up at night.
Apple may leverage existing 5G market in South Korea with earlier launch. As you can see, they really are dropping down again. Apple plan to release country-specific watch bands for the postponed 2020 Summer Olympics. I'm thinking, they really are scraping the bottom of the barrel. How am I going to get through these snippets without having a real good laugh? We get there, though, in the end, don't worry. COVID-19 Apple Store changes uncover opportunities for long-term improvements. Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, they're still not improving as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, they're kind of like, huh. Yeah, we know that this application is meant to do one thing, and it does that one thing, but let's see if we can do that one thing better.
No, this was Apple Store. These are Apple physical stores.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about the app.
Yes,
Oh,
no.
actually, if you don't mind, I'm going to interrupt for just a second. There was a video that I saw where this guy did a reveal.
Never.
I know, crazy. He did a reveal and a box opening of 2 different Apple-designed COVID-19 masks.
Right.
And one is like a cloth mask. And the only thing that really kind of makes it cool is, have you ever seen those little strips that sometimes people put on their nose to help to prevent snoring and stuff like that? It's got like one of those built into the bridge. So you put it over your face, and like most of these cloth masks, you get like openings like right here and underneath, but that closes it.
Okay.
Which I thought was really cool. And then they had one that was basically very similar, except it was totally clear in the front. So if somebody came in and was like hearing impaired or something like that, you could see their mouth move. So I thought that was kind of cool. Sorry. I'll shut up for a little while.
Thanks for that, Kai. Norway will use the Apple Google API to replace its failed COVID-19 app. Well, a little Norway and UK looks like they're on the same track, or were. Key Apple supply partners plan to invest $900 million in Indian manufacturing. And you know what's funny there? $900 million in regards to a manufacturing plant. Yeah, that's
like nothing.
The canteen. That's the canteen.
It's to get a food truck there. That's it.
The Billie Eilish documentary is coming to Apple TV Plus and theaters in early 2021. The UK government it's starting to get juicy now. The UK government apparently, I've not seen this verified, so I'm going to use the word apparently, to give 11,000 Apple iPads to care homes so residents can keep in touch using FaceTime. Right.
Sure.
Apple has rumored mini iPhone could be a blockbuster. Now, the picture of this, the reason
or it may not
if it actually appears. The reason I kind of kept this in was because actually they showed the size differential of this possible expected iPhone mini compared to a current iPhone 11, I think it is.
It's bigger than the SE.
It is really no. It's quite small. No, it's quite small. I think. Yeah, I think so. Well, you're not seeing the story.
Let me go from my search for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay, go from your search to the button. While you're doing that, anyway, I just like the size of it. I'm liking the size of it. It just needs extra cameras. Apple helps the FBI track down a man accused of firebombing Seattle police cars. Now they're helping. No, that's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek. iPhone 12 production at full tilt, 24-hour operation, mandatory overtime, no holidays. All I'm going to say to that is slave drivers, Apple, you slave drivers.
I'm looking at this picture of the iPhone mini.
Go on.
Too small. That's like the size of
yes,
the iPod Touch.
It could be. Well, that's going to be a replacement, isn't it? Then there you go. Anyway, will you let me finish?
Yeah.
Apple iPhone gained significant market share in Germany, so that's quite interesting, actually. I think. Judge in the Apple Fortnite case slams Epic Games lies by omission. Apple releases iOS 14.2 Beta 2, macOS Big Sur Beta 9, and more to developers. Massimo escalates Apple Watch lawsuit after Series 6 debuts with a blood oxygen sensor. So we're assuming that company, Massimo, have actually got their own sensor, which they are presumably thinking that Apple have copied or infringed upon. We'll see how that one goes. iOS 14.2 beta code hints at no free earpods with the iPhone 12. Wait and see on that one. Tim Cook receives restricted stock units worth up to 114 million, ensuring he'll remain Apple CEO through to 2025, which we kind of touched upon that last week.
Yeah, because he only has $1 billion, so I'm sure another $100 million will be like, well, I don't want to give that up.
No.
Oh.
That's per week. Apple versus Epic jury trial might not start until July 2021. Fortnite dispute between Apple and Epic Games won't have a jury trial.
Just keep it out of East Texas, okay?
Apple outage caused iCloud, App Store, music, and TV Plus problems. I don't know if that impacted you.
No.
Yeah, apparently there was an outage. I saw it several times during the week, and there was an outage.
No, I did see that, but it was like, all of these services rely on Apple being connected. So if it's not connected, yes, that stuff's not going to work.
Yeah, but that's the same for kind of everyone, really.
Yeah, because there was a Microsoft outage here in the States.
Yes,
last week.
That. Yes, I nearly put that in. But
yeah. Well, and number one, I wonder if it was connected.
Possibly.
And number two, okay, things happen.
Yeah. Apple patent involves an Apple car with self-adjusting optical sensors. That's all I'm
What does that even mean?
Well, precisely. It just, but the point was it's Apple. They're talking Apple Car again. Apple Card gains yearly spending activity option in the latest iOS 14.2 beta. All I can say to that is whoopee-doo. I can't believe... What? You're kidding me, right? That's basic. Come on, Apple. Basic. Get on with it. Belgium is also a country to use now. Apple Google contact tracing API. That'll please Bart because he's originally from Belgium.
But the crazy thing about all of this is just as we get everybody using the COVID-19 tracing app from Apple and Google, there won't be any more COVID-19 or the API. Yeah, it won't exist anymore. Our grandchildren will be going COVID.
Well, I hope so. I hope they're saying that. Yeah. Apple and other US tech giants face curbs on App Store's data sharing under the draft EU rules. See more later. Just hang on to that thought. Apple TV app looks poised to come to Microsoft's Xbox. Not a surprise.
What might be interesting here is if you buy content through the Apple TV app, will Apple have to pay 30% to Microsoft?
No, they're going to take it to a judge and say, that's a walled garden.
That's not fair.
That's not fair. Apple suggests restoring iPhone and Apple Watch to fix excess battery drain or missing GPS data. That's not good.
No, that is not good.
Make sure you back up your data, folks.
Oh
dear. Apple officially obsoletes the last iPod Nano model. Sad face. So the little iPod my daughter, that shape, it's the last one, the long thin one.
Yeah.
With the screen on it. My daughter's got one of those and she still uses it.
Wait, the Nano had a screen? The little tiny one?
Not the tiny one, but there was one that was about what's the size of it? I suppose it was what was I
thinking of?
I don't know, but there was a really thin one which was a Nano.
Yeah, and it had like a 2-inch long screen on it.
Yeah, if you remember, they went through various different phases with the Nano. Anyway, my daughter's got one and she loves it. She still loves it, still uses it. So that's a shame. But there you go. If they're not selling them, they're not selling them. The new iPad Air marketing materials hit retail stores. Hang on to your hats here, suggesting imminent launch.
What?
Duh. We know what? Where? I put that in just because I was so indignant at the fact that they'd actually written about it.
Yeah.
Mac OS and iOS market share rose in September. Cool, good. Give me some numbers.
As compared to some other flower.
That's perfect. EU, so what are the... okay, let me reread that. Mac OS and iOS market lavender in September.
Excellent. I was going to say hibiscus, but
Hibiscus.
Yeah, that's kind of like when you have a friend named Biscus and you see him on the street.
Hi, Biscus.
God, I'm such a child. Okay, moving on.
Okay, in reference to the other one, where it talked about the EU talking about large tech companies not sharing their data, the EU could force Apple to share user data with competitors. Get your story right, folks. Just get your story right.
Which is a terrible, terrible idea.
A completely terrible idea. Designer makes $100,000 in 6 days selling icons for iOS 14. All I can say is he's a jammy so-and-so, but well done him. Yeah. Apple patent application reveals self-healing display for foldable phone. WTF. I do hope not. Apple sues recycler for alleged. This is not very good, actually. Apple has sued recycler for allegedly reselling 100,000 devices it was hired to scrap. Bad company.
And two of the people that were involved were like high-level execs in the company. And the company is officially saying, oh, that is bad, but it's just those two guys that did it, without saying that it was like two high-level execs that were doing it.
It's just two guys that did it.
That was
the
it.
CEO and the COO.
Right. Now, if it had been like two guys in the mailroom, okay, that would have been like, okay, well, who knows? But if it's like two guys high up in the hierarchy, it's like, I'm not really buying that.
And I joking when I'm saying CEO and COO. We don't know. I don't know, but high level, funny. Yes, right. I bet it was part of the business plan, Guy.
Probably.
Apple launches revamped Maps app in the United Kingdom and Ireland. Whoopie-doo. I haven't really had much chance to use it because kind of everybody's staying home. Apple pulls problematic Safari 14 and security updates for macOS Mojave. Apple stops signing iOS 14 after releasing 14.01. Apple TV Plus musical comedy starring Cecily Strong.
Cecilia. She's breaking my heart, is what it is.
That's not Cecilia. Yeah. That is not Cecilia. That's Cecily.
Cecilia.
Cecily Strong fills out name. Its cast. Anyway, silly name. That is.
It's a silly name.
The Sicily name. Apple Card was mislabeling AT&T charges as Waters, Hardy and Co., leading to customer confusion. Apparently, though, now it's been fixed.
Oh, good. Because, I want all of my other charges, other than the ones to Waters, Hardy and Company, to be separate. I have no idea what that company is.
I don't either. Apple removes 2 RSS feed readers from the China's App Store to please China's censors. Boo Chinese government.
Yeah,
Boo
Apple needs to move their production out of China.
Yeah, well, this is not Apple's fault, right? It is because they've decided to do business in China. But we all want good stuff, and most products there's an awful lot of products that are made in China. But I'm still saying boo, because I thought the same as you, but actually I'm just going to go for it. Boo Chinese government. Boo. Apple to announce Q4 2020 earnings on October 29th. So at the end of the month, they will be telling us just how well they've been doing again.
And probably pretty well. And remember, this is for the fourth quarter. So it's the end of fiscal year 2020 is what they're going to be reporting on.
Thanks for that. Apple Store nearly doubles Google Play store revenue in Q3 despite boom in Android app installs. So the App Store still makes far more money than Google's Play Store. Shocker. Apple Store revenue grew 31% last quarter, possibly helped by COVID. Apple files for another patent involving the rumored Apple glasses. Oh,
it's going to fit right in the Apple car and the Apple self-flying plane. Those are all things that are coming.
It's funny you should say that. I'll mention that. I'll come in shares from gas.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Sorry. Tiny World. It is a documentary. Debuts this week or last week on Apple TV Plus. Apple shares a teaser for the Snoopy show coming to Apple TV in February.
Cartoons are much easier to do these days than live action.
I won't be able to sleep for months waiting for that.
Oh, did you see? Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it yet. The last episode of Ted Lasso.
No, we're watching it tonight.
Okay.
I've seen the latest episode of Long Way Up.
It was really, really good.
Thank you. Which ends on a cliffhanger, literally. I think.
What was that show?
Long Way Up. Apple TV YouTube app is rolling out support for 4K. At last, hurrah!
Yeah.
Apple releases a new OS Mojave 10.14.6 supplemental update with import bug fixes.
Which will then be pulled because of reasons. Ow.
Not with import bug fixes, but with important.
Here's some bugs for you. There you go.
Yeah, just import them into your system.
Yeah. No, everything's fine.
Greg Wozniak. Greg Wozniak. Greg Joswiak.
That's how he talks too. No, it's not how he talks. I'm going to get myself in so much trouble. One of these days, one of these people that I make fun of as we're going through snippets or the other parts of the show is actually going to hear about some of the stuff that I'm saying. And they're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to put out an emphatic tweet putting down Mr. Searle for making fun of me. And then I'll be sorry.
Well, if as long as they listen to the whole show, they'll be able to understand they'll understand. Well, they'll understand. They'll know which Twitter account to refer it to.
That's right.
Anyway, Greg Joswiak's added to Apple's exec site as Phil Schiller's transits to Apple Fellow.
He's a good fellow. What a fine fellow he is too.
Finally, in this section, Apple says Apple Card billing mix-up has been fixed, but tax firms are still inundated with iPhone calls.
Oh, that's got to be what was the name of that? Waters and blah blah and Waters Hardy and Company.
Company.
It's got to be. Oh my God, a tax firm. They're probably like, holy crap! What did we do?
Yeah. Where did all this business come from, which we haven't charged for?
Yeah.
Okay, now that's the end of Gaz's snippets for that section. But I've got a couple of little snippets which I'd like to talk about. Okay, right. So
the second part of Gaz's snippets.
Yeah. Okay, so sticky widgets lets you put a virtual post-it on your iPhone home screen. I've put this in links, Guy, because. Okay. Why? When you see these widgets, and that's why I've put it into the links.
It's on a link.
Why? No, it's in the links as well. It's in the links. I put it.
Oh, you put it farther down?
Yes, in the links section. Where you want me to put the links. Put it in the links.
Actually, it's not there either.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is. I can see. I'm looking at it.
I know, but it's not a link. It's not linkable. It's just underlined.
Okay. I don't care.
So now we'll never know.
No, I'll fix it and put it in there.
Okay, in post.
I'll fix it in post. Anyway, just why? When you see it, just why?
Yeah.
Craig Federighi apparently explains how the Scribble feature in iPad OS 14 was developed. And that will be a link, which is there as a link in the link section.
Yes.
Now, the bit that I was pointing at you with flying cars and stuff, there is a flying suit guy. Now, I know that my company actually had some input to the guy who actually made one of these early doors, and he's got jetpacks on his arms and his legs, and he can fly around. Well, the UK Ambulance Service are testing to see whether that could be used as a rescue jet suit.
Well, who's going to rescue the guy in the suit when he comes crashing down to the ground?
Well,
somebody else in a jet suit.
He should be expert in flying it. Now, obviously, it's going to be used in remote places, hard to get to remote places where you need to, So, but I thought it was quite cool, actually. I thought it was quite cool.
Yeah, but on that note, flying cars is still a horrible, horrible idea. No one should wish for flying cars anymore.
The problem with this flying suit is I've got a feeling that everybody else is going to be wanting one, so there's going to be loads of accidents.
It'd be like drones.
Anyway,
And then people will start getting hit by drones in their flying suits.
It's just, I tell you what, it's a jungle out there, folks. Be careful.
Yeah.
That's the end of Gaz's snippets.
The other snippets.
That's the secondary snippets.
Yeah. Okay, why don't you get us out of here?
Okay, everybody. Why don't you just stand by, and Guy and that cheeky fellow Gaz will be right back. Yes, they will. Haw, haw, haw. Hi, everyone, and welcome to point 2. That's point 2 of this week's Mighty MyMac podcast with Guy and myself, Gaz. Yes, the GMen. We just keep going. We keep on rolling. Rolling. A bit like a story which has started and probably will continue to roll for some time.
At least till July.
Yeah, at least, well, and possibly longer. We don't know. It could go on for some time. Yes, Apple versus Epic.
Oh.
Or is this Epic versus Apple? I think it's Epic versus Apple.
Yeah, I think
it's
Epic. It was certainly
it's Epic and Friends. It's Epic and Friends versus the rest of the world, meaning Apple. Yes,
and
that's
Google.
What they're saying. Well, not so much with Google, is it? Because
they haven't been talked about as much.
No, but they're in a similar boat, but it's not quite the same because I think you're still allowed to be able to go through Epic through the Apple ecosphere. It's not quite the same. If you're sticking with the Google App Store, then yes, you've got the same problem, but you don't have to.
Yeah, you can go to an alternative app store.
Yeah. Which is not safe, of course, which is why we are Apple users.
Yeah.
Epic, because we want to stay safe. Epic,
well,
because we want to make sure it's managed. Epic.
Remember that this is a game mostly being played by kids.
Yeah.
And we all know that impulse control for kids is really, really good. So we shouldn't have to worry about young children going to stores that may have alternate ideas on what to do with their privacy concerns and your credit card as they punch those numbers in. Obviously, kids that play Fortnite would never, ever, ever do anything unforetold like that. And that's not even a word, and they still wouldn't do it. So for people who have been living in a cave for the last month or so, Epic uploaded an update to their Fortnite game that included, and they did it really sneakily. It was a side load update, so it didn't have to go through Apple's approval process, and it made it so that if you were going to buy virtual bucks, or we'll just call them V-Bucks, you could do it through iOS, through Apple's store, without Apple getting their 30% cut, which is part of the agreement. Well, it didn't take very long for Apple to realize what was going on. And the first thing they did was issue a warning for them not to do it. And when that was pretty much ignored, they removed the updated app from the store and invited Epic to re-upload an update that didn't have that in it, which of course Epic refused to do. So the reason why this is so much BS is within a week after Apple took it out of the store, Epic had like the whole propaganda machine running, along with a kind of a spin-off of the original Mac commercial, the 1984 Mac commercial that Ridley Scott did. Like, whoa, wait, so long ago. So this had been, it's pretty obvious that this had been in the works for a really, really long time. And Epic CEO Timmy, and we'll just call him Timmy because he's acting like a child. And yeah, that's me saying that. Nothing to do with MyMac.com or anyone else. That's just that's my opinion. He has waged a publicity battle with Apple, trying to get other developers to jump in with Epic on this. And for the most part, I'd have to say that has been an abject failure. I can't think of too many other companies. Now, they may agree with it.
No, I mean, saying things like, they've been accusing Apple of becoming a beer moth, wanting to control markets, block competition, stifle innovation. I mean, they're talking that they're a monopolist. I mean, what they're talking about their own ecosphere. Epic, create your own phone. They're not stopping you.
Nope.
Go out and try it.
And you can buy those V-Bucks outside of iOS, either through cards, through alternate Google Play stores, through your own website. Buy those V-Bucks, apply them to your account, and then make whatever changes you want to make in your account that will still work within the game in iOS. That's if the game was available, which currently it is not.
Yes.
So, Epic has made a lot of money with their connection to iOS, and there are a lot of people that use iOS that play Fortnite.
Yep.
And that's fine. I've tried to play it, and because I'm not a 12-year-old kid, failed miserably. And it's one of those games where you have to know where all the trigger buttons are for all of the different things that you can do while you're playing the game. And it's why I don't do very well at those games, even when I have like a dedicated Xbox or PlayStation controller or something like that, because it's typically like, oh, wait, hold. In order to do that, I have to hit this button and then hold this and then move that. And for people that play the game a lot, they're like, doop, and it's done. For me, it's like, and by the time I figure it out, I'm dead. So I don't play a lot of these games. But for Epic to claim that Apple is being monopolistic when they control well under 20% of the total smartphone market, is ludicrous. And the other thing that Epic has done or has not done has been to not say anything about similar deals that they have with Fortnite in the PlayStation Store, in Microsoft's Xbox Store, and in other platforms that you have to pay money to those platform makers and developers and store owners in order to buy stuff online. So how is Apple any different?
So where are we now with the story? Because obviously lawsuits being bandied about. It's gone to a judge. And the judge has kind of come back and
spanked them.
She slapped Apple on the wrist very lightly, I think, to a certain degree, in terms of some of the things that you're doing, possibly a bit not naughty, but you're pushing the boat. But actually, she has given Epic a big spanking in terms of what they've done and how they've gone about it and what they're trying to do, because they really have behaved like a spoilt brat in the playground who's had their best toy taken away from them and all of their sweets, and they really are behaving like a child, really. I can say.
Because here's the thing, Gaz. There is nothing keeping Epic from filing these lawsuits while still having their app in the store under the current agreement that they have with Apple. So they could still be making money during this entire process, but they have chosen to take their ball and their bat and go home. I'm guessing with the premise being that they're going to get all the iOS Fortnite players into an uproar, and they'll demand that Apple make changes, which, to the best of my knowledge, has not happened.
No,
I haven't heard anything along those lines.
Well, I've heard a bit of complaining, but I've not heard, not quite to the furore that I think a lot of people
Epic
thought
would
might
like.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, Guy, I think what they also don't realize is, guess what? Things move on. People move on. New games come along. People try new games. They're actually probably doing a lot more destruction of their own ecosphere than they realize, because they're going, no, because are there any Epic games in the App Store at the moment?
The only thing that I know of that's allowed from Epic in the store are games that have been made with Unity, I think it's called,
right,
which is the development platform that Epic made. And so that was actually on the table there for a while as well. Apple had threatened to completely remove their developer account, which would have meant anyone that had made games with the Unity engine would not have been able to update their applications. And that would have been very serious.
The problem with this process is a lot of people are starting to jump onto the tails of this Epic. I think you've got Spotify who have jumped on, and you've got actually, even to be honest with you, Microsoft said something which I thought was quite a bit of a surprise about the thought that they thought that some of the fees were too high, which I thought, well, you got to be very careful in taking that stance, but that kind of disappeared. So whether they actually said it or not, I'm not sure, but there are a number of companies which are now jumping on the tails of Epic, and I think also publishers, newspaper publishers, are also kind of jumping on the back of it a little bit to reduce it. But what gets me is some of those companies have got to be a bit careful, because there is already a reduction for subscriptions which continue for continuous years, because it then reduces to 15%. So those people have got to be very careful. What you've got to do is make sure that you've got good content to keep the people coming back, not just hope that you can keep your business in place by getting new users all the time, because at some point that ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I completely agree. So Sweeney is Tim Sweeney is the CEO for Epic. And something I'm seeing here is that he's also suggesting that Epic's game store could arrive on a mobile platform, including an iOS version. And I'm not quite sure what that would mean. I know that Microsoft and Steam and a few others have been attempting to make a mobile games platform where it's more like web applications. So it's constantly going out to the developers' servers for more information than a standalone game where, if like you're on an airplane and you can't have connectivity, so you switch your phone or whatever over to airplane mode where you don't have anything going out. Well, that wouldn't work with a service like this, where that it has to go back and update via whatever service it is that it's running on. So even in this particular case, if it was, whether it's Microsoft or Epic or Sony or Steam or whoever, if they have a web service platform, I'm unclear as to how those rules apply for updates and purchase of content. If it's being done through Safari as compared to it being a standalone app, I don't think Apple takes a cut of that.
No, not if it's through Safari, I don't think.
Yeah. So but they would have to create a version of this service that would work not only with the mobile version of Safari.
I don't think Apple would allow that linkage, though, because I think that's already been tried. I think that's been tried by some. I think that was tried by Netflix, if I'm honest. There was someone I think tried that, and they stopped that. They cut that down straight away.
I think what their objection was that there was a link within the application that took you outside of the application. But if it was strictly a bookmark in your browser to go to this service, log into the service from the browser, where it's strictly a web application and there's no linkage within an app on your phone, then I don't think Apple would really have a leg to stand on for demanding some kind of cut.
No, I don't think so. I don't think
so.
This, whatever, I think for me, there is a massive reason I like using the Apple ecosphere, and that is because I trust them, and that is because they keep it secure. If a court ruling comes out making that double
impossible
process much more difficult for Apple, and therefore the ecosystem becomes weaker, I am not going to be very happy with Epic at all. So can I sue them for actually, obviously,
loss of privacy?
A loss of privacy. You know, that ain't going to happen. That just ain't going to happen. But there's a lot of things that could go wrong here if I think this goes against Apple. To a degree, I feel a little bit for Apple here, because I think they're in a no-win situation, because a lot of people actually see a spoilt brat in the street and they go, "Oh, that's a shame, isn't it?" And I tell you, I if we're not
that's
careful,
not quite how I look at it. No, it's not. But a lot of people do, Guy. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people see a crying kid, which everybody local or who knows the crying kid knows that it's a spoilt brat situation, whereas other people who don't see a crying kid. Yeah.
And that's what concerns me a little bit. I hope Apple, and I know Apple will. They'll throw absolutely everything at it, and they're not being, I think the good thing is that Google and some others are not coming out going, "No, Apple, you're wrong," because they can't and they won't. And
because they have a stake in it.
Absolutely, if that continues, that's fine, because as soon as they have to start taking less to make sure, to make these people happy, then I think that's going to be a bad day.
Yeah. Well, basically, if Epic gets everything they want, they'll have opened up the floodgates for iOS to become infinitely less secure. I think that Apple could possibly just abandon whole sections of what it is that they do in the App Store if something like this happened, because I don't know if they would be able to keep everything private and secure if they had to open it up to like third-party stores and things along those lines. Couldn't see it happening.
No. I think somebody in particular, Tim Sweeney, he's got something in his head and he can't let it go.
Yeah,
he just can't let it go, and it's this 1984 thing as well. He's got that down.
Don't you hate people that just won't let things go, Gaz?
I don't mind some people that don't let things go, Guy.
Who could we be talking about?
So yeah, so I think this is going to run, and we'll continue.
There'll be more on
it
another time.
There'll be more, but I'm glad that the initial court ruling and the judge has a very knowledgeable insight to the whole process.
Yeah, and not letting Epic,
because at the end of the day,
not letting Epic set the narrative. That's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Good, excellent. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did too. And you know what I'm doing?
I think you're nodding your head.
I am.
Hit it. Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
It's time for
Gaz's tip.
Flying pregnant nuns.
I've got an anti-tip here.
Uh-oh.
So when you open Apple Maps, right? And you tap search for a place or an address, and then you enter your destination and you tap it, and then you tap directions. Now, Guy, not only have you got car, walking, public transport, but also bike routes and a man waving option. I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that, definitely.
Okay.
Now, if a ride booking, so the option of cycling, doing a cycle route, if a ride booking link isn't there, when I tried to go on the ride route, it said no ride booking apps are available. Sorry, let me rephrase that, because I've jumped about here. Sorry, I've jumped about. So on the app, you've got the new option of the cycling and the ride option. Okay, the man waving his arms, right?
Yeah.
Now, if a ride booking link, when I tried it, there was no ride booking apps available from my location in the App Store, so it couldn't give me the ride booking option. So, well, that's not much use, is it? So I think this is only available in the larger cities, and if you're outside of any large city, if there's no ride booking apps available, so the man waving is just a man waving. Okay,
he's happy.
Now, I wasn't so bothered about that because I don't often use ride booking apps. However, what I was interested in was definitely the cycling routes. And it's worse, Guy, because
Really?
It said that there were no cycling directions from my location to a town which is only 5 miles away.
That's weird.
5 miles away. It had walking directions, but it didn't have cycle routes. So I could walk to the town, but I couldn't cycle there. Okay.
Well, no, I totally get that.
Yeah, thanks. So my tip is don't rely on Apple Maps for cycling routes. Not just yet.
Yeah.
Because I saw all the furore about it. Yay, it's got cycling routes. No. As Steve would say,
no.
Not yet. Not in the UK. Don't rely on it. I'm shaking my head now.
Oh, in anger and some kind of fear. No, not fear.
Hit it. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips.
Is that the end of the tip?
Will you let me finish?
Gaz's tips.
Yeah, I've just realized.
Gaz, you are absolutely right.
Yes, if I'd written it a bit better, I did throw it in there a bit quick and then add it because I was stamping on my keyboard.
I love the man waving option.
Yeah.
It's like YMCA.
If you go into the apps and you go to that point, you'll see him. It's a man going like that.
Yeah, he's
got his arm up,
such
he's
a
waving.
happy little guy.
I say man, he may not be a man.
Yeah,
I couldn't see any breasts on him.
I was about to say something and then I stopped myself. It's not often that I'm able to do that.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So you've got a for pick's sake here.
I have got a for pit's sake. Yes. This was a bit of a one that I came across. Basically, this is a YouTube video. Okay. So remember, for pit's sake can be anything, and I came across it. It just came up in my feed. So I put the link into my pick for pick's sake pick, and it's about 5 or 6 minutes long, and it compares fictional spaceships. So it goes from the very small ships, and then it compares the sizes, and you get larger and larger. Now you may be thinking, Guy, that the Star Wars Death Star was the largest object. Well, you'll have to watch the video and find out. It's quite good. It's quite a good little clip.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
I've actually seen similar ones to this. Mm-hmm. And the thing that's kind of, I've got it on at the moment. The thing that's kind of cool is as he's doing this comparison, you're seeing full screen, whatever it is that it starts with. And then as he's scrolling and you see the bigger ships, not only does he have a scale with a guy standing there of like 6 foot tall guy. Pretty soon you get to the point where the ships are so large, it just says, there's a person there. But it's like a single pixel at this point.
So yeah, but then they'll compare it to other objects which you're familiar with, or the shuttle, for example, will appear.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, you know, I was at this nudist colony and somebody came up to me and said, "That's no moon."
Anyway, the link will be in the show notes.
Sure.
So you can. I found it quite enjoyable. It's only 6 minutes long, 5 or 6 minutes long. It's quite good.
Yeah, yeah. And that wasn't necessarily true. That was a joke. Not much of one, but it was a joke. We don't have much in the way of feedback this week, which is very, very sad. But I will say that if you would like to send us feedback, we're going to tell you in just a little bit all the various ways that you can do that. It would make us so very happy if you would do so. The other thing that makes, well, at least me happy would be if you support all of the various crazy things that I do on Patreon, patreon.com/MacParrot, Coffee, ko-fi.com/MacParrot, or PayPal, paypal.me/MacParrot. Basically, if you go to any of these places, type into my name, type in MacParrot, you'll see it. You can send me money to help support my ridiculous microphone habit, and everyone will just have a wonderful time. Now, Gaz,
yes,
if people wanted to get a hold of you right there, Mr. Maz,
me,
how would they do it?
Send an email to gaz@mymac.com. That's Gaz at mymac.com, or on the Twitters, twitter.com/gazmaz, Gaz
Cars.
MAZ.
Cars.
You can also send a Twitter on the tweets, or tweet a Twitter on the tweeting.
Twitter tweets.
Twitter.com/Guy and Gaz, GUYAND Wait for it. Z.
Cars. That was terrible.
You can also send an email to feedback, FWEDBACK, at mymac.com.
mymac.com. Ventriloquist voice.
Now, we know that
guy was paid at 75 grand. So.
Do we know it was a guy?
Yes, we do.
I like to go with Guy.
Absolutely. Because
I screwed up.
No, he doesn't. Not always. No.
This guy's trying to slip me a Mickey.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well,
Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
Guy says...
What?
Pay no attention to that guy behind the curtain.
No, definitely not.
His name was Guy. No fool.
No fooling. No. Because...
You remember Guy?
Guy? He's the guy.
If you want...
An email from Guy. Guy's the one.
Gotta mix it up. Favorite part of the show. My name gets said about 10,000 times.
I'm actually talking about your son.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be a whole different email. Gonna see him tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm driving
hi.
down to Richmond. So what the great thing is, I'm actually going to get out of this house and go someplace.
Yeah,
even if
you
it's
be careful on that.
Yeah, even if it's just Richmond. And I shouldn't say it like that. Richmond is fine. It's and where he lives, it's kind of a cool area because it's like right next to a college, so there's lots of kids. It's getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So if you'd like to send me an email, that email address would be, and should not come as a surprise to anyone who has listened to this show for 12 years, guy@mymac.com. You can also find me on those same Twitter tweets. I have two, not one, Gaz, but two Twitter accounts. I have MacParrot, which I had for like years and years. And then I also have this other one that ties back to this website that I've started up, and it's called Virchart. That's all we can play. Sorry.
But
So
I tell you what gets me on that guy. What gets me on that is it is stupid because we talk over it and it's only short and there is Commons license or whatever it is, but they let idiots take clips of films and TV shows, put them on, and they can earn loads, and they don't take them down. I just find it incredible that YouTube is anyway.
How the laws work in with Creative Commons and all the rest of that is that's a much bigger story than we could easily do in a single podcast ever. Let's just go with the rules are stupid and they are arbitrarily applied.
Okay.
That's basically what happens with that.
Yeah.
So,
and
hello?
That'll be YouTube.
Oh, yeah. They'd be like, stop it, guy.
Yeah.
Cannot play.
They'll say,
Stop the pressures!
Yeah. And in that voice. In that voice as well.
Stop the pressures!
So, as I said, I have a website, vertshark.com, all of the audios and all of the videos, other than the mymac.com podcast with the after show. That is exclusive to mymac.com. Though when I do the video version of this show, and sometimes I'm able to, sometimes I can't, depending on how call recorder is working, you'll find that over at VertShark as well as over on the YouTubes. And if you go to YouTube, do a search for VertShark and then like, share, subscribe. Did you see that one, Gaz?
I did, yes.
Share, subscribe.
Yeah. Anybody listening didn't, but I saw it, yeah.
Yeah, so I held up a couple of fingers.
Yeah.
More than one.
Yeah.
More than one.
I'm going to upset you in a little while.
Oh, don't do that. But we have a Skype number that no one called this week because there's only like 4 people in the entire world that apparently know how to use a Skype number. Not telephones, but a Skype number. That Skype number is outside of the United States, 1 or +1, area code 703-436-9501. That number one more time, Gaz, is 1 or +1 outside of the United States, 703-436-9501. Yes.
I think I've sussed it. I know why people don't ring it.
Tell me.
Well, by the time we get to the number, because we've taken so long through all our contact details, they've probably fallen asleep.
Well, maybe we should just throw it in there every once in a while. Yeah. So, Gaz, what are you up to this week? 1 or +1, 703-436-9501. Just like burn it into their brain. Now, almost like a subliminal message.
Just thank the people, will you?
Yeah. I saw a subliminal advertising agent, but only for a second. Then he was gone. Thank you all.
On my toes now.
Sorry so very, very much for downloading and listening to the MyMac.com podcast. Both Gaz and I are greatly appreciative of the fact that you take the time to do so. And Gaz, I think that we're good 703-436-9501 enough. Smart enough, 703-436-9501. And dog 703-436-9501. Gone it. Woof woof. 703-436-9501. Woof. People like us.
This is where Guy doesn't realize I'm going to talk about a new section.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to suggest, Guy,
okay,
that rather than the silly language...
Now, we haven't talked about this.
We haven't talked about this.
No, this is fresh.
This is fresh and live, folks. Guy looks
I
worried.
disagree. Yeah. I love this part of the show. Rather
than doing the silly language, or as an add-on to the silly language, I'm going to add a new section. So I'm going to do a silly language, then I'm going to add a new section, and then I'll end the program.
Okay.
Com cagando e fan soprano prada ira Florida para o surferuam aperas a casgiero. Guy.
Yeah.
How do you tell the difference between a male and female ant? You throw the ant into the water. If it sinks, it's a female. If it floats, it's a boy ant.
Oh.
End.
nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on home, and I go home.